This film is set in medieval England, in a circus on the outskirts of London where a hunchbacked clown without a name lives. In this circus, he is always referred to as Hunchback, and is subjected to torment to make the audience laugh. Amid his suffering, Hunchback possesses remarkable intelligence. In his spare time, armed with whatever books he can find, he learns about the medical sciences he is deeply fond of. One day, during his usual routine as a circus clown, an unexpected incident occurs. A woman named Laurel, whom he loves, falls from a height while performing an act. Witnessing this, Hunchback rushes to Laurel's side, and simultaneously a man named Victor also comes to help. After examining Laurel's injuries, Victor, a doctor, informs Hunchback that her breathing has stopped due to a broken bone. However, Hunchback refuses to give up. Utilizing his intelligence, he continues to try and save Laurel, ultimately succeeding in reviving her breathing. Impressed by Hunchback's cleverness, Victor begins to pay attention to him and tells him that he doesn't belong as a circus clown. Upon hearing Victor's words, the circus owner becomes furious. Disliking the notion of a circus clown acting knowledgeable, he burns all of Hunchback's books and locks him in an animal cage. However, luck remains on Hunchback's side. Not long after being imprisoned, due to his fascination with Hunchback's intelligence, Victor comes to free him. Initially, Hunchback refuses to be liberated as he has never left the circus in his entire life. However, Victor's persuasion eventually convinces him to accept the freedom. Upon learning that his escaped clown is on the run, the circus owner immediately pursues them. During this chase, one of the circus members accidentally gets killed by a thrown knife. Unwilling to give up, they continue their escape and manage to flee by entering an underground water passage beneath the tent and emerging onto the streets. They relocate to Victor's home after successfully escaping. Once they arrive, Victor instructs Hunchback to remove his clothes. Then, with a bit of coercion, Victor attempts to treat Hunchback by extracting fluid from his hunch and attaching a device to help him walk upright like a normal human. After the treatment is completed, since he lacks a name, Victor instructs him to become someone named Igor. This is the name of Victor's former housemate, who never returned home. Victor then heads to his underground chamber, leaving Igor behind. The following day, a police investigator named Turpin arrives at the circus to investigate the incident. Initially, Turpin doesn't believe that the clown intentionally killed someone at the circus. However, upon finding a red bag at the crime scene, Turpin instructs his subordinates to search for the clown on charges of murder. Turpin's reason for doing so is because he discovered a lion's paw in the red bag he found, and he believes this case is connected to his ongoing investigation of stolen animal carcasses. Because of this, no matter what, Turpin must find a way to capture the clown and the person who saved him, who is none other than Victor. Knowing that they are being hunted for murder understandably terrifies Igor. However, Victor's words that he is no longer a hunchbacked clown eventually calm Igor down. Subsequently, due to this situation, Victor shows Igor what he has been researching. Victor displays a pair of preserved eyes to Igor. He explains his work and without hesitation activates an electrical device on his table, causing the preserved eyes to come to life. Once again, Igor inadvertently displays his intelligence, stating that Victor has incorrectly connected the nerves between the eyes. Not wanting to waste Igor's intellect, as he comprehends and understands the work, Victor, in his eccentric manner, immediately asks Igor to assist in his research. Without knowing the true purpose, Igor follows Victor's instructions to repair various organs of deceased animals, such as hearts and lungs, to make them functional again. One day, in the midst of their activities, Victor unexpectedly invites Igor to accompany him to a nobleman's party. As it turns out, Victor is the child of a nobleman and a renowned figure in England. However, at the party, Victor loses control and, due to intoxication, continuously discusses ways to reanimate the dead. Amid their conversation, Igor suddenly spots Laurel, who is now recovered, at the party. Unable to stay silent upon seeing the woman he loves, Igor immediately chases after and approaches Laurel. They engage in a brief conversation, during which Laurel finally recognizes Igor as the circus clown who saved her. Over time, they grow closer, and Victor invites Laurel to join him for a drink. However, once again, Victor continues discussing his research to bring the dead back to life. After the party concludes, pleased with his completed research, Victor finally reveals what he has created in his underground chamber to Igor. A partially decayed corpse composed of a combination of various animals and organs, which is essentially what Igor has been working on. Naturally, upon seeing this, Igor becomes hesitant. Victor's claims were supposed to be about saving humans from death, not resurrecting strange creatures like the animal carcass before him. However, witnessing the creature before him come to life, Igor surprisingly becomes delighted. Seeing his research succeed, Victor plans to present his findings at his university and invites Igor to be his partner, making Igor feel valued and significant. Proudly, Igor invites Laurel to attend the presentation. The next day arrives, the moment they have been waiting for. In front of noblemen and university officials, Victor and Igor proudly showcase their work. Unfortunately, after successfully reviving the creature they created, it suddenly goes out of control and nearly attacks Laurel, who is present at the event. Seeing his loved one in danger, Igor immediately tries to attack the creature, causing it to flee the room. Igor quickly pursues it, but in the chase, he becomes the one being pursued and attacked by the creature, nearly falling down the stairs. Victor arrives and attempts to help Igor, pulling the creature off him and reluctantly killing it. Fortunately, after their ordeal, a nobleman named Finnegan becomes intrigued by their work and wants them to create another creature. However, after what transpired, Igor refuses to create another creature and argues with Victor. Despite Igor's disagreement, Victor, driven by his madness and ego, agrees to Finnegan's request. In a few days, Victor works alone on creating the next creature in human form without Igor's assistance. Unbeknownst to him, his father, a nobleman, arrives and scolds him about his past actions at the university. Here, Victor's obsession with his research is revealed to be driven by his desire for recognition from his father, who has always considered him useless. Witnessing Victor being scolded and belittled by his own father reminds Igor of the feelings he experienced when he was a clown. Because of this, Igor decides to help Victor again, and together they spend the entire night designing the next creature. Meanwhile, Turpin, who is pursuing Hunchback, decides to visit and search Victor's house. Feeling suspicious of Victor's actions during his university presentation and aware that their house is about to be searched, Igor returns home after meeting Laurel and immediately enters to help Victor escape. Unfortunately, while trying to assist, Igor discovers a frozen corpse stored by Victor, which turns out to be the real Igor. Unluckily, during their debate about what he has seen, Turpin manages to enter and holds a weapon on Victor. Not one to back down, Victor fights back and successfully traps Turpin's hand in a machine, then flees, boarding a train prepared by Finnegan. The story continues at Finnegan's house after their successful escape, where Finnegan instructs them to continue their research in a distant castle. However, Igor's patience runs out. He rebels and refuses to follow Victor any longer due to his madness, leading them to be pursued by the police. As a result, Victor leaves alone without Igor. Unfortunately, as soon as Victor departs, Finnegan captures Igor, as he knows too much about his plans. Finnegan then takes Igor and throws him into a river with his hands tied. Despite the odds, Igor manages to free himself from the restraints and swim to the surface. The scene shifts to Laurel's house, where Igor receives treatment after surviving Finnegan's attempt on his life. After a short while there, driven by his memories of Victor, Igor decides to rescue him. Before throwing Igor into the river, Finnegan reveals that he plans to kill Victor once his research is complete. However, Laurel prevents Igor from going after Victor, not wanting Igor to get hurt again. Despite Igor's insistence, Laurel eventually decides to accompany him to where Victor is located. They travel together by horse-drawn carriage, and with Laurel's help diverting the guards' attention, Igor manages to enter and climb into the castle. He is astonished by what he sees. The creature they designed together has been completed by Victor and Finnegan there. Witnessing this, Igor discreetly approaches Victor and learns about Finnegan's true plan. Another debate ensues, revealing that Victor's actions are driven by a desire to alleviate the guilt he feels over the death of his brother Henry, who was killed due to Victor's actions when they were children. Victor explains that since he took his brother's life, he feels compelled to create new life to alleviate his guilt. Because of this, despite Finnegan's plans, Victor continues his research, leaving Igor there and preparing the creature he designed. Finally, the anticipated moment arrives. They release a balloon into the air to capture lightning, then direct the electricity into the creature. As expected, shortly after the electricity flows through it, the creature starts breathing and comes to life. However, in the midst of their joy, lightning strikes again, causing an overload of power and resulting in an explosion that kills Finnegan. The remaining members of his group flee in fear. However, the problem is not yet over. After the explosion, the police who had been pursuing Victor once again arrive to stop him. But it's too late. The creature that Victor created has managed to free itself. Victor approaches the creature, and Turpin, witnessing this, doesn't hesitate. He quickly shoots at the creature, which unfortunately causes it to lose control and kill Turpin with a single blow. With the creature out of control, Victor and Igor are forced to work together to kill their own creation. Despite their differing strengths, they desperately fight against it. Using an electric shock, Igor manages to immobilize the creature and thrusts an iron rod into its heart. However, Igor forgets that the creature they designed has two hearts. As a result, the creature rises again, striking Igor unconscious and then attacking Victor, who is already struggling to stand. Fortunately, Victor grabs an iron rod and swiftly impales it into the creature's heart, killing it. The next day, Igor wakes up from his unconsciousness, but when he searches for Victor, he's nowhere to be found. Laurel arrives and meets Igor, handing him a letter written by Victor. In the letter, Victor apologizes to Igor for what has happened and encourages him to enjoy his own life. Victor explains that he is going on his own, continuing his research. And the movie ends. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. Because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.